kedatangan tamu dari Myanmar dan India. Mereka ini adalah rekan-rekan dari Association for Progressive Communication atau disingkat sebagai APC. Kami saling berkenalan sejak tahun 2008 ketika memulai inisiatif pengembangan infrastruktur internet berbasis komunitas yang dikembangkan secara bersama-sama di beberapa negara, bukan hanya Asia tapi juga di Amerika Latin dan di Afrika. Nah, di sini ada Michael Swantak dari Asorcom Myanmar. Michael, wave your hand to everyone. So, saya kenal Michael, ini orangnya seru banget. Dia bikin community network di Tuklai di Myanmar Utara. Terus ada Girish. Girish, can you show yourself? Oh, Girish is still not here.
I'm here.
So Girish, say hi to everyone.
Namaste, hi.
And we have Shalini. Shalini, say hi to everyone.
Hi.
Ramprasad, can you show yourself? Ramprasad, we have some participants from many different places in Indonesia now. Sarbani,
Yes.
can you say hi to everyone?
Hi.
Hi everyone.
And our last fellow is Pooja. Where is Pooja?
Yes. Hi, everyone.
Okay, we're going to start our session tonight. Ini teman-teman kita akan berbagi pengalaman, berbagi informasi, berbagi pengetahuan terkait dengan pemanfaatan internet di daerah mereka masing-masing gitu ya. Ada nanti teman-teman ini akan cerita gimana mereka ngembangin internet berbasis komunitas di daerah mereka, terus gimana internet itu dimanfaatkan. Ada yang memanfaatkan internet untuk penanganan bencana COVID, ada yang memanfaatkan internet untuk mempreservasi keanekaragaman hayati, ada yang untuk pemberdayaan perempuan. Ada juga teman-teman ini yang menyediakan akses internet untuk warga di desa mereka gitu. Nah, sebagai permulaan, mungkin kita akan mulai dengan wait, saya lihat dulu ya jadwalnya ya. Okay, so folks, I just explained to them and introduce you to some participants. So here we have a participant from many different places from Indonesia. Most of them is eager to learn about community networks and how you develop project and utilize internet to empower your community. So perhaps we can start with you, Michael. Michael akan sharing tentang pengalamannya berkolaborasi dengan masyarakat adat di northern Myanmar, di Chin State ya. Okay, Michael, you can start your session. Thank you. You still mute your voice. So, Michael, can you unmute your microphone?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Right.
Thank you. Now you can see the screen, right? Yeah, thank you for inviting me to participate in this special occasion. Actually, I have been to Chiptakala in last year, exactly 1 year ago now. I'm Michael, and I'm from Chin State of Myanmar, and this is the one of our village uh, in Chin State. So today, I want to share the the problem and the solution we have faced during this process to build a community network, to work with community, and to work with to make something better for them. So this is the place where I live and where we start, and still now this is the same. And this is my workplace. So our organization is called Alternative Solution for Rural Communities. In short, it is ASOCOM, and we are building a community network and community radio in Chin State of Myanmar. It is located, as mentioned before, it is in the northwest of Myanmar, very close to India. And how we do is this is the tools we use. We use the trees, we use the bamboos, uh, and we started with what we had in our hand. So this session is to share our challenges we face in a community network. But you may copy directly, and then uh, some point you cannot copy directly because our context, a different culture, different topography are different, the law and regulation are different. This my sharing experience is based on the context of Myanmar, context of the jungle in Chin State, and context of the hill area. So you may need to modify to apply in your place. This is the village called Tuklai, and it is on the hills. The elevation is around 5,000 feet. So our experience is totally came from the hill area. So this is how we start. So we start with the team who came back from Germany, who came back from the city of Myanmar called Rangoon, and then the team member, some of the team member came back from Australia, some from the Canada, something like that. So I will share that our models in the next slide. So there may be many kinds of community network. So this is ours. As we are from the community, but most of them are not living in the community. We are living in around the country, around the world. But we know the community. We have a good connection with the community, and then every year, at least once, trip we make to visit back to the community. So we s- we started the community network. We started what we want to do, and gradually we include the local community member later on. So some community started from the community itself. So our case is different. So we live in outside the community, but we are from the community. So the approaching and the learning, the challengings are also different from each other. Then we mobilize the local youth, and then we hand over the rule of the organization and the rule of the project implementation to the local community gradually. So we started this community network since 2013 August. So we have a lot of experience, and then we know something. We know something. We learn something from that. So today I would like to share. So these are the team, the core team of the community from the local. So these projects started by the brainstorming, and we want to bring something to the community, and this that community network ideas we got in 2008, and we at the times that the ubiquity company started, and they just produced that nano station. So at that time we learn about nano station and to use it for the community network. But at that time we don't know that it is called community network. At the time we just want to have a communication system for the village and owned by the village. So later on we know that this is called community network. So this is the main team that started that our community network. So we organized several meeting and several site visits and online discussion. At the time, we don't have social media, only that the Google chat, Google G chat we use, and we use email to communicate among us. Then we every year once one trip we make from it to the community, and we met with the community. We share our idea. We ask their need and their expectation, and what kind of contribution they can do or something like that. We have a lot of community meeting. So the real implementation happening in 2013 August, because there was a big event. It's celebrating the 200 years of the Baptist mission. So the celebration of that church. So to make it memorable, then and some we got some local donor to start the project. So we start with that donation fund. Then we buy some solar battery, computer, used computer, and some Wi-Fi device. So here, so far, that the some challenges that need to be care. As our model, we are from the outside community, start project in the community. So the local community, we need to understand the local context, including the culture, the skill and education, and the local dialects, and also the daily livelihood of the local people, and also to know about that the social being, economics, and one thing that important is that the uh, uh, law and regulations in that country or in that community. So for our case, we studied that, and we got some support from the local community, but they don't how to say that they don't know what we are doing, what we are going to provide them. So first we have to install and show them, then they use it and they like it, and then gradually the support increase. So these are the user record. Actually, that Myanmar, as we all know, that at the time, that the last, like before 2008, it is under the military government, and then until now we in the process of transforming to the democracy, but the military government hold that 25% of the parliament and many department in the administration. So that is one challenging from the people side, administration side. That another challenge is that natural sites, like I said, the ants destroys our things, and sometimes that the disaster destroy our things, our project. So from that lessons, a good thing to do is that the keep doing, keep learning, until we don't stop, we are not fail. Okay, so we have to learn, keep learning, and try a new model, try to meet the new people, new get new idea, and we have to keep going. That is very important for us. So in 2017, that the four big telecom cover those area, and many people move to use that the mobile-based internet connection. Then we have to change that our community network model from providing the internet access and communication service provider to something else. So we changed our objective and our design from providing internet to a local resource center and content creation. So one of the challenges, or one of the important thing for the community networker uh, to to care about is that when we get connection, when we get internet, many young people fall in love with the social media, fall in love with the games, online games. So some may good for them, but most may are not good for them. So in our situation, we are still looking for the solution to make it, to make it uh, the use of Facebook or social media lesser, and to use it for online learning and make it profitable, or make it business online, something that we are trying to uh, give a solution at the moment. So here's we are here today. We are moving to communication provider to local education, creating local education, collecting the local information or other information for the local community. We started the community farming for supporting, because we cannot depending on the NGO donation or others external support. So the thank you. So that the external support is not always or not always reliable. So we have to stand. We have to build the supporting system to stand on. So we started community farming, and then we grow coffee, and from that we produce a coffee and others consultation service for the coffee farm. And also we started the community radio in 2017 to one for to providing that the information to the community, and another for collecting the local cultural dialects, story and history from the local, because we are very small community, especially that the seeing people in the world is less than 10,000 people who are speaking this Sin dialects. So it is very important for us to preserve our culture, language, uh, tradition. So that is the uh, community radio taking care of that. And we also starting that the social enterprise. So we have a credit union since 11, 12 years ago. So now we are supporting the community young people to start their own business. So we have a business loan and a business training for them. And now we are starting that the Savory social enterprise for doing this kind of taking care of this kind of thing in partnership with the credit union. And this year, because of the COVID-19 pandemics, many local farmer, especially the grape grower, face a problem because there's no buyer, and the raw material, the price of raw materials get down to half. So from this year, we start uh, grape wine production, and as well as mango wine. We are making a mango wine because there are a lot of mango in the community, and also that we're trying to make coffee wine because of the COVID-19. We cannot sell the coffee because hotel are closed and lockdown, and then the restaurant are only in parcel delivery mode. So the consumption is very decreased. So we are trying to find a new way to make a income for the community. So uh, these are what we are trying. So regarding that the technology, regarding the technology, uh, here are our suggestion. People who want to start a community network in your place, in your region, in your village. Uh, it is advised to use legal products available in local, because there's rule and regulations. Sometimes it make difficulty. And if you buy something products, good to have the same model, same brand, same model. uh, by that, if something broken, then you can replace with the old one, and you can manage it easily. And if you plan to buy something, buy from one shop as a lump sum, then you can ask them for discount or donation, or maybe for their CSR. You can claim for that. And our case, we love open source because we don't have money to buy the license from other. So we use open source. For example, we use Asterisk for VoIP, and Kaltura for IPTV, Jitsi for video call, Colibri for education purpose, and Linux for server. So as it is free and open source, we don't need to pay any money for that. And then we also can have a lot of documentation and discussion forum we can join, and we can get the technical support. That regarding community participation, as I mentioned, that our case, uh, they know us, and we know them, but they don't know what we are going to provide them. So it takes time to convince them to understand some uh, some activity or some project. It takes 4 years to 6 years to understand by the community. So we are doing something. They don't know what we are doing, but after 6 years later, or after 4 years later, they got uh, they understand what we are doing. So sometimes we need to be very patient to wait them to understand and to support you. And and also, it's also depending on the situation. Some situation change, or some policy change, some government change, like this during this COVID-19 pandemics. So no one can go outside, no one can travel, so they all have to be depending on the online virtual communication. So now they understand that why the internet is so much important for them. But before, 4 years ago or 10 years ago, they don't understand why internet is necessary. We can go and see each other. It's much better. So we can do uh, cash payment. We don't need online banking. We don't need mobile money. But now, everyone have to be depending on that the digital things, digital stuff, like a payment, a delivery, communication, the learning or teaching, everything is depending. So we have to be patient, and then sometimes we have to wait the wave. So if the wave come, and then you can success or you can be supported. So the main thing is that we have to be patient when we are working with the community, and including inclusiveness of women and other gender like LGBT participation is important, because we cannot know their difficulties, like people with disabilities. We cannot know, we cannot understand what is their challenging. But if we have the participant from those community, they can represent their need and their challenges. And as a women, now we learn about that during this COVID-19 pandemic, the domestic violence is very much increased, and we have to find and the way to solve that the domestic violence during this lockdown era. So regarding that domestic violence, we need to ask the women, and then they and open for them to speak loudly. So otherwise, the men cannot know that how they're feeling or what happening in the family, and man and wife and husband. So it is very important to for inclusiveness. So regarding local contents, now education everywhere, normal learning system, education system are closed down. So uh, we have to find the way to provide education virtually. So that challenge, that the connectivity. So the mobile SIM based data connection is very much expensive for the local income. So the community network is the best solution for that online learning. So that now Myanmar government started that online learning system, and they provide the local content in the Burmese language. So we are now downloading the educational contents, and then trying to do audio dabbing in the local dialects. It is also important to provide the contents in local accessible language. Otherwise, many people cannot understand the major language properly. So it is online. We cannot know how do they understand or not. So it is good to prepare the contents in local dialects. So it is very important for us. So times is going on, so I'll skip some point, and then regarding funding and other things, I'll make it fast. uh, to start with the what we have in our hand, what we have in our community. First you start, and then do something small thing, then you have some evidence to show the donor, to tell the others people. So don't wait to have some money to start. Just start for brainstorming, drawing, sketch, writing, and then preparing. And you start with what you have, and later on people will know. Later on people will support you. So just start with what you have. That is our advice. So to start, we don't need much other things. You can build the tower with the mast with the bamboo. You can use a tall tree, something like that. Um, and you can have a solar system if you don't have a national grid line, and then maybe you can start with the old used battery, or you have the one you have with in your house and in your community. You can start then you can build the mini hydropower or something like that. So I'll stop my sharing here, and then, thank you very much for listening me. And if you have question, then I can answer, or I'll give back the floor to the organizer.
Oke, thank you Michael, thank you for your time. Jadi teman-teman, ini Michael dari daerah Chin State ya, provinsi Chin itu. So let me explain with Indonesian language ya, it's okay.
Mhm.
Michael ini di daerah Myanmar Utara, di daerah provinsi Chin. Seperti yang teman-teman tahu, Myanmar ini dulunya ada di bawah kekuasaan rezim militer yang sekarang sedang dalam proses transisi menuju negara demokrasi. Waktu saya berkunjung ke kampungnya, nggak gampang ya ternyata bikin infrastruktur internet berbasis komunitas di sana, karena prosesnya masih sangat diregulasi dan dikontrol oleh militer. Tadi Michael cerita beberapa aktivitas dan inisiatif yang dia kembangkan bersama komunitasnya di di daerah Chin State. Ini komunitasnya Michael ini tersebar-sebar di beberapa negara, tapi mereka berusaha untuk mengembangkan infrastruktur internet berbasis komunitas di daerah Tuklai di utara untuk membantu masyarakat adat di sana, kurang lebih seperti itu. So thank you Michael. Now we move to, let me check. We can start with Girish. You want to share about the community network and COVID-19 pandemic response?
Yeah, I could. I think Dinesh and Shalini, if they want to start. I've mailed you all shared all my photos. If you keep them ready, then I.
Okay, I will share you your photo, ya.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yes, I could see it. Yeah.
Okay, you can start now.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. It's good evening here, maybe, yeah, for everyone. Thanks for giving an opportunity for this event, this moving studio at the COVID-19 situation. Dinesh gave me a lead. One of his friend from Red Cross were planning to do the campaigning on a auto rickshaw or a typical way, like putting up a loudspeaker and going around and announcing about giving announcements on the public address system. This thing. So at that time, I went and approached and spoke to the district collector at Tumkur district and requested him, shall I try this way? So that was the idea when we started initially. So on the journey, this was the first day I visited the place near Tumkur. It's near Gulur. So when we went there, these are all the village panchayat people sitting around. So I started visiting villages, sitting with the group of people over there and try to understand their needs and their views about COVID. This is the first day shot. So all the panchayat members are sitting there. They were all like, at that time, that was early stage of COVID-19 situation. So they were only known through television and papers and some instruction directly from the department to these people. So everybody should wear mask, was a very early day, and keep the distance, sanitizer, all this well. And suddenly they were all panicked to answer the questions of the villagers, because these are the head of the panchayat, members of the panchayat. When public came and asked them, what is this all about? So they were very less informed to tell them. So all these people are requesting through this radio that what should be talk to the public or villagers when they come to us. And in this particular village, there was a mosque, a Muslim community also there. And initially in India, at least in our area, like in Tumkur district, um, Muslim people were, and there was a big issue over there in this village, that we are all trying to talk to everybody and keep them instructed with wearing mask and keeping their distance. But the people who are going to mosque, who are not able to worry, listen to their this thing. The Asha workers who are visiting every house were complaining. So that was the first complaint what I could record here in this. And uh, first few days, first 1 week, me with my friends went around and just collected their opinions and their needs and complaints on the mobile radio station. Then later, Dr. Achyut Rao and Dr. Sheila Kare, resource persons, joined us. They heard all these few audios of the public, who, what their needs and how to handle the situation on this. Then later from that, the design started. On the real time, like we started brainstorming every evening, and we thought we shall plan giving a right information to the public by using this mobile radio station. So the idea was to give a no. So Gustav,
Yeah.
timer is, yeah, on the screen timer is happening. Photos are not coming. I thought you are
Sorry.
searching. Oh, I thought you will be seeing, and you will come back to screen.
Sorry.
Oh, okay, that's okay.
Where's the picture?
Next one. Yeah.
This one.
Click. No.
Yeah.
This one. Yeah.
This one, yeah?
Yeah. Anyone, you can do slideshow or anyone. So then we started taking this audio to the concerned departments and started, asked them to listen. We too had carried a huge speakers on a van, and people who come near the van can able to download and listen to this through their mobile phones. So then these people all understood, officers understood, like, yeah, whatever, because this policeman is addressing the villagers' need through this van. And he was not able to travel to every village. This is in Turvekere, near in Tumkur district. So he started recording what all the public announcements or instructions that he wanted to give to all the villages in a different style, not like diplomatic announcements. So friendly, he started talking to each person's need, heard them, and he started talking. So these audios were once again recorded and put back on the server. We went with these audios. Yeah. Can you the next slide, Gustav? Gustav?
This one?
Okay.
Yeah.
This was very interesting. There are 3 slides you can change one by one. This is very interesting. This was after a week or so. On the road, we happened to visit this village. Actually, this village is near my farm. We wanted to halt in because it was on the way. We and the resource person stayed in our farm. Go to the next slide. Actually, see, there was a ritual every year ritual, which happens like village Grama Devate, village goddess celebration. This is a village called Vignasante. This woman is carrying the neem leaves with curd rice and some jaggery and things like that. And she is going to a. Can you change the next slide? Yes, sir. She is going to and praying spirit on the village. Here we cannot celebrate. Sir? Celebrate the group festival or a regular festival of that village. Yeah, all these women, around 300 women near a farm, came with this kind of. They were following the government instruction, wearing
300.
the rituals has to be they went to that neem tree and asked sorry for that goddess that this year we cannot do, and also prayed that goddess let this corona get out of this region from the whole world. Similarly, 30 years they did for a plague and other pandemic. So some of the old people of that we and this was very interesting for me to also know. So they asked sorry goddess, also goddess to take COVID out of this is one way for their satisfaction, obeying the rules and also believing with their rituals. Similarly, we started taking the photos and showing this. And this is a Vignesante village, and this is a huge temple behind. Where all the women sat in with keeping their distance and started recording their. Why they did what was it was an introduction, but later when our resource person started giving information, then we asked them, is there anything that you want to talk to the government or a department? And so this woman is because of a lot of old women in that village were not getting pension from past couple of days. She asking like from maybe around 1 or 2 months, they're not getting pension. At this time also, if it is not getting, there will be a problem for the villagers. This man. You are asking about that comes and uh, for situation. They were not because they are telling prime minister has released that much of money, this much of money, but immediately will not come. But these people were telling that so from past 2 3 days they are telling 1 week they are telling we have not received anything. So our resource person started explaining how that process happens and when it could reach and how to apply it, how to go and ask whom to go and ask. All this were right information given to this whole crowd over there. In every village, we started learning new things, how and what would be the information that we could deliver through this mobile radio station. Yeah, yeah. This was a Red Cross group people who initially took me into the DC and grant me the permission. News reporters talking about their views on our radio. These are the villagers were coming and asking for their medicines. Yes. Yeah. So every day at least we had visited 3 to 4 villages from morning 9 o'clock till night 9 o'clock. Yeah. She is a blind woman. And she was asking like in this we don't know anything, but most of the people were not knowing anything about COVID. They started ignoring this television, everything, every day talking about the same thing, and they were not like very interested to know about, they were not serious to know about through the television. But we went there, they all started sharing their honest views about things over there. Yeah, this is all about moving radio, and this is the recent situation in our villages that all the teachers are teaching, taking these kids. These are actually videos. Yeah. Now the school is happening like this. Children are away from school and they are gathering in some under tree around temple. Batch by batch, 1 or 2 hour classes are happening in our villages. So we have planned to put up a micro media centers at these places. So for that, when I visited all these places, they're interested. Now we are planning the next proposal is up a micro media centers at these tower kind of a thing, where these children can come and record their assignments. They can come little early before the teacher come and things. And teacher also, when while leaving, she can also give her opinion, homework or whatever in the audio form. So they were all happy, and I would like to do it in the next this year. This thing on this. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Girish.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Uh, Let me
Thank you,
stop
everyone.
the screen first. Okay, good. And Shalini, you also want to share something?
Yeah, Gupta. So can I share my screen?
Yeah. But what is that sound on the loop?
I think. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So Girish talked about how he is doing his radio programs in and around the village. So I'll talk about in continuation of what he's been doing and with the content that he's been collecting. So just to give a brief of where we are, this is where we are. This is a valley region, and down below this area is where our villages are. So this is one clipping of the craft center where, I mean, all we run a local handicraft center where all the women from the village they come here to. Uh, it's the local economy basically, and the radio center is right next to here. So Girish is also like doing something. If we can locate him here on the left side of this image. So what's basically like what we are trying to do is like, so I mean the community, what the local media, what it does is like, if you see like the vernacular media has been like lacking at the community organizations and schools have typically they have gathered content from somewhere else. It's so to manifest such content locally, we thought like moving from community radio to archive the locally made content. Sorry, am I audible or I thought someone is.
You can go on.
No, you're audible, Shanti.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thanks. So our target, so what our target users is basically like the community people. Uh, how do we increase the content accessibility for this community? So community people will come and curate and they'll do. So the ownership of the media, who will own this media? So because it's the locally produced content, we are envisioning that like the community should able to use this, has to have the ownership of this media. And how the community, how we can increase the community participation, uh, managing these medias, and how to like capacity building, how to video recognize all those things is our like the plan to. So this photograph, if you see like a woman from the craft center, she is recording her story in the radio device. This is a small phone booth that is converted into a radio recording device. So through this we are seeing like how we can like archive or like annotate these media so that the people in the village can uh, use their media back. So yeah, and this is uh, our annotation tool dashboard that we are trying to build. It's called Puppet. So this how do so so this dashboard is a speech or audio annotation tool. So users can voice their recording, annotate, annotate by like enabling text or tagging, etc. And they can like, I mean, these annotations can enable text impaired to access and engage with the community media is what. So these annotations can educate with annotation is our basic thing. And I mean, understand a particular media, annotate contextual comments, tags, etc. They can do. So this is one dashboard. They can upload their audio. They can annotate their audio through audio tagging itself. It's not like the text. If you can ask me the question like, how do they annotate? It's through audio tagging is what we are trying to see, and they can use these tools to annotate and like bring a visual story later. Like they annotate their own media, and like we are trying to see like how we can make a visual story out of this all these annotations that we gather. So this is a quick thing that we have been trying to do, like how what is it in continuation of what Girish has been doing on the field. So yeah, thank you. This is our team who have been like closely working with this community networks, and these are our links.
Thank you, Shalini.
Yeah.
So now we can continue with you, Sarbani. Sarbani?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. All right. So I share your screen from here.
No, I can do it from here. I'm doing it.
Okay, cool.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Gustav, for inviting me to this rural ICT camp, and I'm happy to be here participating in this session today. And and hello to all the participants who are listening to this session. I'm Sharbani Belur, and I'm the Asia Regional Coordinator for APC, Association for Progressive Communications. And I'm also a Senior Research Scientist with the Spoken Tutorial Project at Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. The topic that I am going to discuss today is on enabling women's participation in seeding community networks. So it is that often we think about the world like 45% of the world is still unconnected. There is a lot of rural urban digital divide. If you look into the connectivity in rural areas in comparison to the urban areas, the digital divide is quite wide. It's there between the rural and the urban areas. In addition to this, there is a gender digital divide as well, in the sense that women cannot use the connectivity as much as men can use it. And in the GSMA 2019 report, they say that women are 23% less likely than men to use mobile internet. I mean, and mostly internet is used widely in the mobile devices, and 23% less likely. Women are less likely. I don't have the statistics for Indonesia, otherwise I would have really shown the statistics. But in India, the gender digital divide is very wide. So it is also rural urban digital divide. Along with it, there is a gender digital divide also. Now we connected 25 villages in an earlier project that I worked on, and I looked at how are women using the connectivity in those villages where we connected. And what I saw is that women use the connectivity much less than men use it. And some of the reasons are that women don't have their own smartphone. It is not very. It is a study that I did in the year 2017 and 18. And what happens is that women use a shared smartphone. It is often shared with their husband, brother, or any other family member in the house. Also, the access points that we had put up in the village, we were seeing that women were unable to go out to access the access points, Wi-Fi access points, after it is dark. So it must be the same cultural scenario in Indonesia as well. There are also privacy issues regarding websites visited. Like women did not know that which are the websites they should visit, which are the websites they should not visit. and in the sense that what are the things, what are the credentials that they should put into the for visiting a website, what are the details that they should do. There were also issues related to web stalking, unknown caller, missed calls, etc., that women reported. And women are overall, they were less digitally aware about smartphone usage than men. You know, like some of the women in fact told us that I am very happy, I will be very happy to use the smartphone that I own, but I am unable to use it because I don't know how to use a smartphone, and there is no one in the house who can teach me. So even though she had a smartphone, but she was not digitally literate to use it. Now, what we saw also is that of the women, of the less percentage of women compared to men who use the connectivity, we saw that women were passive users of connectivity. That means they were just watching movies on Hotstar, online, making WhatsApp calls, and their average use per day was just 1 to 2 hours per day, not more than that. This 1 to 2 hours per day made me think that why is it that they use it only for 1 to 2 hours, whereas they were having the smartphone with them from 8 in the morning till 5 in the evening when their husbands go out to the fields to do agriculture. So women told that even though the phone is with them, but they are unable to use it because they are busy with other activities in the house. So the 1 to 2 hours that they find free time is after the lunch is over, and that's the time when they relax and they look into the smartphone. Now, how we began enabling the use of connectivity by the women. We identified that women in the women's self-help group in the villages. Every village in India has a lot of self-help group, and all the women in the village come under one or the other self-help group. So women use a lot of YouTube videos for stitching, embroidery, and other things in these self-help groups. And these self-help groups are funded by the state government, state government. And what women do is that they learn recipes about different types of food. They learn craft, tailoring, and everything online on the YouTube through YouTube videos. So this is how they are this is how they were using during that time when we did a preliminary study of how to understand, exploratory study to understand how women have been using the connectivity or how they use their mobile phone and the mobile internet in their day-to-day lives. So we asked them that what are the ways by which we can enable connectivity to them, not enable, by which they can use the connectivity that we have enabled to them. And they mentioned that women's special handholding sessions about internet use could be something that can be done with the women, because that way women can understand about, even if they don't have a smartphone, they can buy a smartphone, and the ones who have a smartphone, they can start using the smartphone because the handholding sessions will be very useful to them. Then there is this, we also looked into train the trainer for the use of smartphones, especially smartphones by women. The women also mentioned that there has to be some points in the village that needs to be women-friendly access points in the village. That can be at strategic locations in the village, like for example, near the well, for example, or near a school, near a lady teacher's house. That is where the access points can be put up, so that women can visit those places without any fear, even after darkness. And women also discussed about creating a web platform where women can sell their craft. Now they are looking into, they are using the connectivity to learn different types of crafts, recipes, tailoring, and other things, but they don't have a web platform where they can sell. You know, the basic idea behind women using the connectivity was that they wanted to get empowered economically through the connectivity. And they also wanted some discussions on privacy issues during internet use and being online. So women also wanted these type of handholdings. This was now what we did in the village, that we set up the connectivity with in the community network in through the funding by Association for Progressive Communication last year. This project was carried out successfully in collaboration with Bio Development Research Foundation, Pune. And what we did is that we we enabled connectivity only at one point in the village, that is at the community support center, to a SIM card based cellular router. I will be showing the network architecture a little later. And in that place, we enabled a banking correspondent who was using the connectivity through the SIM card based cellular, through the SIM card in the cellular router, and for enabling banking services for people in the village. So people in the village were walking 20 kilometers, almost 12 to 24 kilometers, that is 12 kilometers one way, to the city to even withdraw cash from the bank or look into